Okay, when it comes to your budget, if you're following the hope-filled financial guidance, or Dave Ramsey's plan for that matter, you're probably familiar with the zero-based budget because it's the first podcast I'm going to explain a little bit about what the zero-based budget is. In a nutshell, it's when you can put your income at the top of the budget, list out all of your expenses in as much detail as you want. It could be simple, it could be really in depth, doesn't matter. You list all your expenses. When you list your expenses, that's going to include items that you're saving for and debts that you're paying. If you take your income and subtract every single one of those expenses, every single item indicating how much you plan to save for certain things, you should get zero. The effect of this zero-based budget is that you have assigned every single dollar omission. Every single bit of your income, down to the dime, is given a purpose, and it is assigned something to go do. And today's budgeting tip is it is okay to give your dollars a mission that isn't perfectly defined. Now, this might be in contrast to what you think of when you think of a zero-based budget, or if you're just starting out with the zero-based budget. Why can't everything just be exactly where I want it to go? Well, things pop up that can't be predicted. No matter how good we are at planning, no matter how good we are at knowing what we have coming up in a given month, we're always going to have something that we did not expect. And that little something is something that could be cash flowed. It's not something that you need to pull out money from your emergency fund to handle. It's not something that you necessarily need to pull out of savings to cover. It's something that you could cover in the day-to-day. It could be a small necessity. It could be, oh, I ran out of toothpaste. And you didn't have enough room at the end of the month in your grocery line item, in your budget, to throw toothpaste in the cart because you needed to make that squash soup. And that squash is more important than the toothpaste. But you also need toothpaste. And it would be very silly because you're on a budget to just not buy toothpaste and wait a week in order to buy toothpaste and go a week without brushing your teeth. Cavities and dental care is going to cost a lot more than that. So it's important to have another random other category, a kind of catch-all in your budget. And you can break that into different sorts of others. When we talk more about budgeting, we could discuss other catch-all category line items. But it's important that you have at least something miscellaneous. The caveat to having a miscellaneous category, let's say you have just one miscellaneous line item in your budget, is if it starts to accumulate the same sort of expense over and over and over again. It's something that you can see recurring every other month or even every month, and it just keeps ending up in the catch-all because it doesn't have a spot somewhere else. Well, if your miscellaneous items are continuing to catch the same recurring thing, that is an indicator that it doesn't belong in your miscellaneous category. It doesn't belong in other. It belongs in its own category or grouped in a category where it can be accounted for intentionally. I track how much our miscellaneous spending is, and I look at how much that other category accumulates. And I look at the average over a year and say, okay, it's about this. And I know I need to budget that or a little over that each month in order to catch all the little miscellaneous things that I can't possibly account for when we're sitting down and having a budget meeting.